Hello and welcome to Tip Top C# tutorials. In this video, we will get to know more about delegate basics. This is the first part of delegates tutorial. We will see what is a delegate first. After that, we will go into depth understanding what is the mechanisms and underlying concepts are getting executed for delegates. And finally, we will see different caveats that you need to know in terms of delegates in C#. First thing, what is a delegate? Delegate is a function pointer that can hold the address of one or more methods. So indirectly we can say it can point to a single method or many methods. And what is the peculiarity of delegate? It can validate certain properties about the method are being matched with the delegate declaration. Unlike the function pointers in high level languages like C or C++, where the function pointer just points to the memory location of the method. Here, C# delegate will verify certain properties like return type of the method, the type of parameters for that method, and the number of parameters for that method. All these things will be validated while assigning the or while pointing to the method. So let's understand how to declare and call the delegate. So the delegate declaration looks like this. We can use the delegate keyword to achieve the purpose. Public delegate int calc in A and in B. So this calc is the name of the delegate and the parameters are two integers. And how to define a method which adhere to the signature of the delegate? It's like this. So the return type should be int and the number of parameters should be the same. Two parameters should be there and the type of each parameter should be the same. Like we have two integer parameters and here for the method we see two integer parameters. Yeah. And next up is to point to the method, how to assign this particular delegate so that we can invoke the method via delegate instead of directly calling the method. That is the whole purpose behind the concept of delegate. Yeah. The explicit way is to initialize via constructor. You initialize the delegate using the constructor and pass the method there. Implicit way is a direct assignment. You just not need to explicitly call the constructor. You just need to assign the method here. And finally, we are going to call the method. And most importantly, while calling the method, we should pass the exact type and exact number of arguments. Here, I have used a different signature so that we will get to know what kind of error will be there. In the add invocation of delegate, I'm passing first parameter as integer 10 and second parameter as a string. As I said earlier, it is validating the property uh, of the type of parameter. So there is an error or a warning from compiler saying that cannot convert from string to int. So the delegate is expecting second parameter as an integer, but we are supplying a string parameter while invoking it. So that's not permitted. You will get a compiler error. That is the whole purpose of delegate. Yeah. And let's go into a little depth, understand how delegates are working under the hood. So this is a capture from ILDASM. IL disassembler which shows the MSIL code for the code what we have written earlier. So you'll see different methods being displayed here like begin invoke, end invoke and invoke. You might be wondering from where we are getting this. If you see the second part, there is an extension from system.multicast delegate, meaning that in delegate keyword you are using, it helps us declare a class type that inherits from system.multicast delegate type. System.multicast delegate, it has a way to uh, hold a set of addresses of methods so that we can point them to. And how to invoke a method? Invoking a method being pointed that in turn calls the invoke method. For example, if you take the disassembled code, uh, when you try to invoke the earlier delegate, I'll just step back to see this point number 4. When you try to do a add delegate invocation, the step number 4 is converted to this IL disassembler as you see in the third step, like call word instance in 32 tip top C# tutorials delegates basic calc, and invoke method is being called with two parameters being passed. Okay, so that's how the delegate keyword has been translated into MSIL code and the underlying mechanisms are performing. Let's take a look at the system.multicast delegate class. So I have capture from Object Explorer from Visual Studio. When you take a look at multicast delegate, it has a lot of methods. One sample method for illustration is get invocation list. So this is the method which will give you the number of methods being pointed to. So in the invocation order, so an array of delegates whose invocation list collectively match the invocation list of this instance, meaning that you have 10 methods being pointed out by the delegate keyword. Like you keep on adding different methods or assigning methods to the delegate, then once you try to invoke that delegate, all these methods will be executed. So that is the foundation of events and delegates and observer pattern in .NET in general. So for that, you need to watch our videos on design patterns. For under the hood operations for delegates, this is more than enough. And let's move into caveats. What are the different tips or trips or points to be noted while dealing with delegates in C#? The first point is delegates can point to one or more methods. For example, if you have a method to be executed using a delegate declaration, and if you have a set of methods to be executed or by invoked by a delegate, you don't need to have a separate declaration. The same delegate can point to one or more methods. And the second point to be noted is delegate can point to instance methods as well as a static method. The same delegate declaration can point to a static as well as instance method at the same time, so you don't need to separate out or delegate or declare two delegates, one for static and one for instance. That is not required. And the third and final point is delegates can be invoked synchronously or asynchronously. So when I showed you the list of methods in system.multicast delegate, there are uh, methods like invoke and there are methods like begin invoke and end invoke. So there is a built-in asynchronous support for invocation. There is no additional work you need to do. You just need to leverage the begin invoke and end invoke methods. So that's all about delegates basics. For delegates and more advanced topic like callbacks, please watch our videos on delegates tutorials part 2 and further. Thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day.